Hello everyone and welcome to the Michigan International Speedway, a 2-mile D-oval nestled in the beautiful Irish hills of southern Michigan. This track will play host today to the very first race of the American short trackers Voltson Super Trucks, a series that will compete using V6 powered pickup trucks and drivers of diverse ranges of racing experience. Most of the participants, both the drivers and their teams, race at short tracks of all kinds all across the Great Lakes Basin region of the United States, from quarter-milers to full-milers, from bank tracks to flat tracks, from paved tracks to dirt tracks. Very few of them, however, have experience on any big speedways such as MIS, so it should be very interesting to see how these teams adapt to the big 2-miler. And now let's take you through the starting grid for the race. Starting in row 15 would be Caden Holt in the 83K and Guy Ward in the AK-47. Holt experienced a problem in qualifying and is the only driver who did not set a lap. Tony Cross and Kane Canavan make up row 14. Row 13 is Dave Coleman and Hunter Blaze, the Gravity Racing Incorporated driver. Pamela Keller and John White make up row 12, the 02 and the 06. Mexican Alex Martinez and Craig Hazel, one of the dirt track racers, starting in 22nd. Brianna Prinzhorn in 19th, and Aubrey Wood is starting in 20th. Nancy Keith in 17th, and the Wisconsin native Carl Gargolak in 18th. Kevin Thompson is starting on the inside of row 8, and on his outside is Park Lobo Truck Tour racer Vincenzo Focusado. Mike Ramos is starting in 13th, and on his outside is Chris Washer, the 14-year-old. Mary Verseau is starting in 11th, and on her outside is Zach Churchill. Rounding out the top 10 is Gordon Davis, and on his inside is Rachel Kowalczyk, the Canadian. Connor Code is starting in 8th, and on his inside is Ronald Way in the 69. Row 3 consists of Ron Anderson and Larry Kowalczyk. Neither of them will be showing up to more than 2 races this season. Michael McKinley starts 4th with Chase Eberhardt on his inside. On the outside of the front row is the number 82 of Daryl Quick. And on pole position for the race, driving for Rossini Sport, the number 15 of David Savoldelli, the National Racing Championship driver. Today's starting field consists of 30 drivers, the largest entry list of any race for this season. 16 of them will be competing for the championship, 12 of them will be racing part-time, and 2 of them, Carl Gargolak and Larry Kowalczyk, are showing up for this race and this race only as one-offs. And now it's time to go racing. The field completes their pace laps and the pace truck will pull off into the pits. David Savoldelli and Daryl Quick leading the field to the green. Let us commence the American short trackers Voltson Super Trucks. The green flag is in the air and we are underway at Michigan International Speedway. Mary Berceau and Kevin Thompson are pulling to the inside before turn 1 as Savoldelli will pull ahead and take the lead. Several cars side by side in the back. There's already a lot of 3-wide racing. Chase Eberhardt trying to get by Daryl Quick, but a fantastic run off the corner by the 82 truck. We'll see him keep that second position. And now he goes for the lead on the inside of the 15 truck coming into turn number 3. Michael McKinley up there as well. Ryan Anderson running a bit wide in the back, and look at how close together the rest of the trucks are back there. Quick getting a push from Eberhardt now. We move to the inside on the front straightaway. Daryl Quick will lead the first lap of the series. 3 wide with Eberhardt and Savoldelli into turn 1 for the lead. It looks like he's going to get the position, but then has to slow up in turn 2. The 15 and the 82 get a run back on the inside, and they are still 3 wide off the corner. McKinley right behind them. And through turn 3 and 4, Quick would get by Savoldelli and take over the lead of the race. Further back in the midfield, Carl Gargolak moving to the inside of Kevin Thompson as Thompson pushes wide. And there is 4 wide now. Nancy Keith, Chris Washer, and Larry Kowalczyk, and several other cars in this group. Gargolak is a racer at the Appleton Speedway in Wisconsin. Speedway, and there's a crash behind them. Thompson, Martinez, Washer, and a couple of others, I believe, are around. Here's another look at this off of turn 2. Gargolak pushed up into the 18 a little bit. That forced Washer into the wall. Martinez is spinning. Aubrey Road runs into the 19 truck. A couple of other trucks getting a small piece of that. One other truck in trouble. It's Guy Ward, the AK-47. Here's the fly that came off of turn 2. There's Larry Kowalczyk and Chris Washer being stuffed into the wall. Martinez spinning down the back straightaway, and he gets knocked up onto his roof by Dave Coleman. The 48 car is going to do a couple of rolls and come to rest on his roof. And Alex Martinez is going to be the honorary recipient of the first truck to roll over in the series. Onboard Pamela Keller. She ran into the back of Kane Candyman and whoa, my goodness! Almost ran into Alex Martinez as he was rolling his truck. She barely missed hitting the 48. One more look at this. Gargalock pushed a bit wide, sent Washer up into a couple of the cars, and oh, Aubrey Wood got hit by Dave Coleman. That forced her to hit the 96, and Coleman got hit from behind by somebody else and shoved him down into Martinez after hitting the 13. Under this caution, Michael McKinley, the 99M, while running in third place, pulls into the pit lane with an unknown issue. The team would spend the entire race trying to get that truck fixed, and he would never rejoin the track. Daryl Quick led on the restart, but Chase Eberhard and David Savodelli immediately put him in a 3-wide situation. Both of them go by the 82 in turns 1 and 2, and now they battle for the lead on the backstretch. Savodelli is getting a push from Mary Brousseau in the 25. The FARC DMR Regional Cup racer, Mary Brousseau is, and Ron Anderson moving underneath the 25, trying to get by in the third. He's got a push from the 82 as well. Eberhard is going to clear the 15 off of turn 4. He becomes the first driver that's not Daryl Quick to lead a lap in this race. Here we have in the midfield, Caden Holt in the 83K. He started in dead last after experiencing a problem in his qualifying lap, and he's into the back of the 7 truck of Brianna Prinzhorn, and he's still pushing the 7 truck all the way through turn 4. Around goes Prinzhorn, and a big crash off of turn 4 ensues. Several cars involved in this one. What on earth was that all about? I have no idea what Caden Holt was doing. As we're going to take another look at this, he gets into the back of the 7 truck in turn 3. I could understand that a little bit. Maybe the 7 just didn't get on the throttle soon enough, but he never lays off of her through the entire length of the corner, and madness ensues. Several trucks, almost all the trucks that were running behind him, pile into this mess. Carl Gargalock was just lucky enough to miss the first wreck after causing it. Not so lucky this time around. Pamela Keller's forced up into him, and Gargalock goes spinning across the front of John White. We're going to go on board the 96 of Chris Washer, who was caught up in that first accident, running right behind everyone who piles into this one, floors it through the smoke and barely gets through, almost hitting a couple of cars. Washer got very lucky that he didn't hit anyone. That was quite reckless of him to go flying through there like that. Fortunately, he did not have any, he didn't hit anyone. Savodelli leads on the restart now, but Mary Brousseau going for the lead in turn 3. Ron Anderson, Chase Eberhard, and Daryl Quick all still running in the top 5, and now Zach Churchill is moving into 6th place, the 84 car right behind them. Brousseau still trying to take the lead, and it looks like she's got it cleared heading into turn 1. Churchill facing a challenge from Vincenzo Focasato in 37. Focasato is a racer in the FARC Lobo Truck Tour and raced at the Berlin Raceway regularly before he went over there in 2013. He's never raced at the MIS before though, and neither are many of the drivers in this race. Rachel Kowalczyk now trying to get by the 84. It looks like she may well do so on the outside, although Churchill putting up a pretty good fight right now. Kowalczyk, a dirt track racer from the Port Huron Dirt Coliseum, a native of Sarnia, Ontario. And here is Kevin Thompson and Ronald Way doing battle further back in the midfield. Thompson went spinning in that first accident, but didn't receive much damage, and is trying to make his way back to the front. Now Ron Anderson has moved up into 3rd place in the 333 car, the Purple Torpedo Racing car. It's quite impressive to see Anderson running this far up towards the front, considering that he doesn't race cars anywhere on a regular basis. Craig Hazel now running in 13th. He's rounding out the lead pack of cars that have not received damage. Hazel and his teammate Tony Cross picked up a little bit of backing from Saar Motor Company just for this race, and the first group of cars behind them have all received damage, led by John White. This group also consists of Connor Cota, Carl Gargalock, and Chris Washer. Further behind them, Brianna Prinzhorn and Mike Ramos are racing for each other, and way behind them are Pamela Keller and Dave Coleman, the 2 very heavily damaged trucks, battling for the second to last position on the track. Mary Brousseau, continuing to lead this race, is pulled a couple of car lengths over David Savodelli. That's about the largest lead anyone's had so far today. Brousseau did not race very often, but she did race in the 1980s at the Dixie Motor Speedway, and also has some experience in drag cars, also in the 1980s. Trying to enjoy her retirement by returning to racing for the first time in 30 years. She's doing a pretty good job of it in the Regional Cup and is leading the race here, or was leading the race until Savoldelli came at her on the inside. He received a push from Chase Eberhardt. The 15 truck moves back to the top spot. Craig Hazel is now caught up to the small group of trucks right in front of him. He's already gotten by Kevin Thompson in the 90 and is trying to get by Gordon Davis in the 32. That's for the 9th position. And running right in front of them is Ronald Way. Unfortunately for Hazel, the 101 truck is going to go up in smoke on the back straightaway. An engine failure on the 101 is going to take him out of the race as he was beginning to work his way towards the front. Tough break for Hazel. This leaves both of the Team SJG cars out of the race. The leaders come across lap traffic for the first time in the form of Dave Coleman and Pamela Keller. Both of them are being very courteous and doing a good job at staying out of the way. Considering most of the entire field's lack of experience on tracks this big, it's good to see that they know how to move aside for the leaders. Unfortunately, it's pretty hard to move out of the way of everybody no matter how hard you try, and Vincenzo Focasato is in the worst spot in this situation. He gets held up by the 56 car for quite some time. Mary Brousseau is not quite content with running second. She wants the lead of the race back and goes to the inside of Savoldelli in turn 1. The 15 truck getting a bit of a run through the middle of the corner, the 25 getting a bit of a run off, and Savoldelli and Brousseau would proceed to battle each other out for the next several laps in a row, side by side, and no one with a clear advantage for some time until Brousseau gets around Savoldelli in turn 2 and takes back the lead of the race. However, the leaders would soon come across more lap traffic, and unlike Keller and Coleman before them, Mike Ramos and Brianna Prince are not doing a very good job at staying out of the way. They decided to race each other side by side while it is for position. The leaders are also coming up behind them, and they held up all of them in the process. Prinzhorn moves high to let Brousseau and Savoldelli by on the inside, but this has left Chase Eberhardt in a very bad spot. Eberhardt has not led a whole lot today, but he's been running in the top 3 for the entire race, and now is dropping down the order very quickly as the 2 lap trucks continue to hold him up. The next driver to challenge David Savoldelli for position will be the 18 of Nancy Keith. Keith, of course, caught up in that first accident, and Daryl Quick is going to follow her through into 3rd place around the 15. Savoldelli now running in 4th, the lowest that he has been this entire race. That's still pretty good for the 15 truck. Zach Churchill and Ryan Anderson battling out behind him for 5th place. Keith started in 17th position, and very lucky not to have gotten taken out of the race when she was in the middle of that 4-wide battle on lap 3. Eberhardt is now running in 7th place, right in front of Vincenzo Focasato and well behind the leaders. He's virtually been taken out of contention unless there will be another caution. Gordon Davis is the first car running behind them in 9th place. You see Rachel Kowalczyk running 10th. Ronald Way is running in 11th place. Further behind them is Kevin Thompson in 12th. And even further behind Thompson is this group of 4 cars that has been running together since the restart, still led by John White in 13th, Connor Coda in 14th. Chris Washer has gotten by Carl Gargalak for position number 15, and he tries to go underneath Connor Coda to take his position away. However, it's going to backfire on him as Gargalak moves back around the 96 truck. Daryl Quick, who led a few laps early in this race, sort of fell back to the lower top 5 and is now beginning to make his way back towards the front. Not really sure if it's appropriate to say he fell back to the lower top 5. That's not very far behind. But regardless, he's trying to get by the 18 truck for the 2nd position. Can't quite do so until David Savoldelli catches up to them and gives the 82 a big push through turns 3 and 4. It appears to be a 6-truck race for the win at this point. Brousseau has now extended her lead to be the largest that anyone has seen all race, but it is still very much surmountable. Quick, Savoldelli, Anderson, Churchill, and Keith are all slowly catching up to the 25. The 82 getting particularly close now. He's close to within a couple of car lengths of her. As Ron Anderson continues to run in 3rd place, Anderson has very few races under his belt, especially in stock cars. I believe he's only racing a couple of street stocks races at the Berlin Raceway, and is also running in some of the sports car races on the infield this weekend. He very rarely races sports cars as well. On board the 25, she's pulling away from the 82 a bit with a good run off at turn 4, but it is clear that Quick is faster than her at this point. He goes to the inside to try and take the lead of the race with less than 10 laps to go now. Brousseau is doing a good job at holding her own and is trying her hardest to stay ahead of the 82. She gets just a good enough run off of the 4th corner to get by him down the straightaway. Mike Ramos and Brianna Prinzhorn are still battling each other for position, and they have been since the restart. But with just 3 laps to go, Ramos is going to pull into the pits. Not sure what's wrong with the 23 car, but he would return to the track. And now with 2 laps to go, Darrell Quick is still trying to get by the 25. And a great run through turn 3. Quick has the lead of this race. Brousseau pulled ahead in the turn, but Quick just outbraked her and a very smooth corner entry. He gets a fantastic run and opens up several car lengths off the 25, off of turn number 4. Now coming to take the white flag is Darrell Quick in the 82. Brousseau not facing any challenges yet from anyone else, but she's got several car lengths to close in and virtually no time to do so. Now rounding the final corner and coming down to take the checkered flag, Darrell Quick will become the first driver to win a race in the American Short Trackers Voltson Super Trucks. Darrell Quick wins the Saar Nebraska 100 at the Michigan International Speedway. Two Quick Motorsports emerges victorious after 100 miles of racing, over which we saw 2 cautions and lots of action up front. What a debut for the AST Voltson Super Trucks. Mary Brousseau just barely beat Ryan Anderson back to the line for the 2nd position. Pole sitter David Savaldelli finishes 4th. Rounding out the top 5 is Zach Churchill, the 84. Nancy Keith finishes in 6th and is the high climber of this race. She picked up 11 positions from her starting spot of 17th. Chase Eberhardt in 7th, but the day could have been much better for Eberhardt, running in the top 3 for much of the first part of the race before getting held up by lap cars and falling all the way back to 7th place. Vincenzo Focasato finishes in 8th, Gordon Davis in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Rachel Kowalczyk.